decorating.
Yeah.
Because it's a recording studio, but it wasn't that bad. But the so we were in the back of there, and but whether there wasn't anyone living there then, it used to be a PR agency. Q, was it Q?
Q. I think that was before me. We've been here 10 years.
Yeah, it was before that.
So I don't know. You've been here 25 years. That's like 15 years longer. There must have been so much more going on around here, wasn't there?
Well, so much less going on, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing here.
No. Did you say there was like one shop that had like Italian? There was an Italian dress, like 80s sort of, like for cheap. I don't know if it's like Jewish owned it or something. It was down where the People supermarket is, and everyone used to go and get their clobber there.
In the 80s. So that was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a casual shop here before I knew about Lambs Conduit Street, and I think it was where Ryman's is.
Yeah.
And it was a casual shop.
Yeah.
And that's where everyone used to come and get.
Like Sergio Tacchini and all that sort of stuff.
Beachy maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Before my time, but there was a shop there. And there was another clothes shop. It was kind of known for being a couple of clothes shops down here. Yeah. But it wasn't like it is now.
No, it's got a little bit up more market now, isn't it?
Yeah, and everything's marketed, isn't it, these days? And everything's all there's everything's kind of like, it was just like a high street then. Where it accidentally had a couple of clothes shops on it.
Yeah. And it was cheaper because it's outside of Soho, isn't it? It's like I don't
think the landlord really knew. Well, do you know what a lot of it is with Lambs Conduit Street? It was before people started living in Hackney and that way. Mm-hmm. So everyone lived west or they lived south.
No one would go east
or they'd be in Islington maybe. Yeah. You know, but no one lived in Hackney. No one lived in Dalston. So I remember. So when we were living here, you know, I used to, you go up and do whatever you were doing, whether it was eventually doing a school run, you'd be up there at 8:30 in the morning, and suddenly one day I noticed, where are all these people on bikes coming from east? Yeah. You know, and it suddenly felt like everybody suddenly moved east. Yeah. And just were swarming into the West End or wherever they were going west to work. And it just felt like it suddenly was like, and I think that's one of the reasons why Lambs Conduit Street got noticed. Because people were suddenly going past it a lot. Yeah. I think it's as simple as that.
It is, yeah. And it's.
I mean, obviously,
was it still sort of semi-pedestrianised or not?
Yeah, it was pedestrianised.
It's always been like that. Yeah. That's a part of the niceness about it, isn't it? There's no, apart from bikes, you'll get run over by a bike coming through it. But
when it used to be, I wasn't here when this was happening. But I think maybe this was early '80s. But it used to be you could drive down there, and Sid's, which is now Conduit Coffee House.
Yeah, it's a good
used
cafe.
To be like. He used to be like well known for his bacon sandwiches apparently. Yeah. And it used to be in the morning. It would be all black cabs, double parked on Lambs Conduit Street and Great Ormond Street. Yeah. But different times, yeah.
Well, it's the same as the fish and chip shop at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Friar's Delight. Yeah. That's like, it's a weird something about that batter. It's a bit darker than most fish and chip shops, but there's always taxi drivers that are out there, and they say it's the best fish and chip shop in London.
It's done in
cash only.
Yeah, cash only. Yeah. Isn't the batter? What's the batter? Batter's made out of. I
don't know. It's like suet or something like that.
It's a meat batter basically.
Oh, is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Bloody hell, no. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can only really get handled. You go in there. Sometimes you get a good one. Sometimes you get a bad one.
Yeah.
But it's too much of a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But they got the butcher. It's got everything. Lambs Conduit Street's got everything. It's got the oldest funeral directors in London, isn't it? Is that right?
I don't know about that, but they buried Nelson, so it's pretty old.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, that's their claim to fame.
Wow.
Apparently Nelson's body was kept in the building, brought out, and then by horse and car taken down to Greenwich.
Wow.
And then he was brought back up, and they did a flotilla back up to.
Wow. And that's been the same family since back then, hasn't it, really? So, yeah. Pretty impressive.
It is mad. I mean, it is mad. But it's, I try not to draw too much attention to the street because it just means my rent goes up.
Yeah. It's true. It's the same here, really.
I know. But yeah, it's a pretty special street, and having lived here 25 years, it's golden handcuffs. I don't know where else to go.
No.
From here.
No. It's a good. a good spot, like your stone's throw away from Soho. It's not really well known. I always think of like East London is like where the artists were getting trying to make it, aren't they? And they're all a bit rough and ready. And then here is where they've made it, and they're a little bit more. You'll see various celebrities walking down here that don't get any people going up asking.
Well, they don't, do they? It's interesting, isn't it? Because there's a few around.
Yeah.
And I was waiting at the bus stop one morning to go and do my radio show.
Yeah.
And Rupert Everett was at the bus stop.
Yeah.
And as the bus came along, he's standing right on the edge of the curb. And as the bus came along, the wing mirror nearly knocked his head off.
Really?
Right. And I'm standing there, and I've got my records, and I'm on my way into Soho to do on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And as he got on the bus driver had a right go at him.
Really? For
what are you doing, standing so close to the curb for? And he was just sort of like,
brilliant.
And he just went, "Oh, bugger off!" And he just walked on. I was like, "Where am I living? What am I doing? Where am I?"
He does the talk on he does like the chat, doesn't he? He does all the poet reading and stuff for the Lambs Conduit Street party that we do every year. We do the Christmas one, we do the summer one, and he usually gets involved with that.
Yeah, at some point, yeah.
They did a thing like
Maggie organised the Christmas Carol. They did a Christmas Carol, and it had loads of celebrities. Because ITN, which I don't think is in Grazing the Road anymore, so they've moved, haven't they? They've just moved, I think, yeah. But Channel 4 News presenters were coming in and doing a bit. Who's the guys in Blackadder? I've forgotten his name.
Rowan Atkinson.
No. Percy. Don't put any of this on.
No.
Anyway, so there was a few actors.
Yeah, I've seen Ricky Gervais walking down here. We had John Malkovich come in the other day.
Did you?
But he had 3 attempts of getting a haircut in here because we were busy. And all these guys, they're a bit younger and they don't know who he is. I wasn't here, but one of them, one of my clients, a bit older, he had a face towel on underneath a hot towel. And this voice comes across. Has anybody got in this John Malkovich
very recognisable voice, isn't he?
And the client literally took his towel off and sat up and looked around, and it was John Malkovich asking for a beard trim. And the guy said, "No, sorry, guy, we haven't got any space." So he came in again about 3 weeks later. Again, had no space.
What's he doing around here then?
He's working. He finally, the 3rd time he got in, and they got talking to him. Mikey ended up doing his hair, and he's in Bloomsbury in a theatre. That's what he does mainly, is in theatre. Because Bloomsbury's a lot of theatre thespians, isn't it? There's a lot of smaller theatres.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's amazing. And then we had the guy from Breaking Bad come in as well. I can't remember his name now. The main guy.
The main actor.
Yeah, he came in. He came in with Darren, but he was with his mate, and this another recognisable accent. "Hey Darren, I hear you're the man to go to." And Darren's looked around, and it's got a guy from Breaking Bad there.
Did you see him in that studio? The studio, that Apple series recently. He's in that.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in a couple of them, and he's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think he's a proper character. I think once you get that big, you get this sort of air of like you can do anything.
I think so. Yeah, can't you? Yeah. But he's naturally just sort of like maybe he's come into his own at the prime of his life, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Tell us about your radio show then. I've been listening to it Sundays. We listen to it in the shop a lot. You've got it's part of the wonderful sound.
Well, it kind of all started really sort of naturally, really. My daughter was going to school in Soho, and on the school notice board, there was a little pretty much a handwritten sign, Soho Radio. Are you into radio? Call Adrian 0756 whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's Soho Radio all about? And I asked him at the school desk. A tiny school, in Wimwell Street, and they said, "Oh, I don't know. This guy called Adrian asked. He's just trying to get something going." So I phoned him up, or maybe it was an email. Anyway, no, it was an email. So I dropped him an email, and I didn't hear from him. I didn't hear back from him. Then suddenly one day I got an email back from him. Said, "Oh, here's my number. Should we meet up?" And they were setting up a radio station next door to where the school was on Great Wimwell Street. And so I went to go and see him, and it turned out he went and checked out the website, and I was putting out a record by a friend of his, and he was like, so that's why he was like, okay, I'll take some notice of this guy. And they were about to set up their Soho Radio, which was like sort of, it was literally starting like a couple of weeks later, and then 6 months later he gave me a show.
Yeah.
And then he checked out the label and Wonderfulsound and everything, and it just spawned out of that really.
Yeah.
And he's a musician and a producer, and they had a little studio down there at the time in the original space, because it's moved since then. And yeah, we just got on, and he just really loves the show, and the whole ethic of the whole station is you can just do whatever you want. Basically.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So
it's one of the ones that I always go to, Soho Radio.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of people that I've loved over the years, and new music. A lot of people that are connected to this shop that come here, they play there.
Okay.
Chris Stoker, and we've got the Primal Scream bassist. I think she just left actually. Simone Butler.
I think she's still doing the show.
She's still doing the show, but she's stopped Primal Scream recently. I think it was just announced yesterday. I thought the day before. But yeah, there's always a nice little. They've always got a good selection of.
Yeah, it's a mix,
DJs,
isn't it? Yeah, it's a good mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do my show. So my show's on a Sunday midday till 2, and it's kind of like it's fortnightly, and it's I love it. It's absolutely. I love doing that show.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like keeps my finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
It makes me keep an eye out and putting out records and who's putting what out and my own style and taste of stuff.
Yeah, it makes you accountable as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's happening, so you've got to do it.
Yeah, and I have to do it. It gives you that deadline, and it's sort of like, and it always works out okay. You always think it's going to end up being a nightmare, but it just keeps me focused, and it just keeps like I said, it keeps my finger on the pulse, and it's a real pleasure to do it, to be honest. And it's built up now. There's kind of a little WhatsApp group that follows it, and there's playlists that go along with it.
Quite extensive WhatsApp group, isn't it?
It's starting to pop off a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's all right. It's okay. It's all right. I don't mind. It's kind of like everyone's well behaved on there.
It's very good. It's all very big musos. There's lots of good. Where are you off to? If I needed to go to a gig, there's one or two of them that are going to the same one.
To be honest, yeah.
The Beat Band, I think I asked last time, and there's about 5 or 6 of them all going to that.
Yeah, and then it was like this weekend, Sven Wonder is playing at the Jazz Cafe, and then I mentioned that on the show, and suddenly it's like I'm going. Oh, I didn't know, suddenly. So it's good little. It's not too crazy.
Yeah.
It really was just an opportunity, that WhatsApp group, to be able to get. I was constantly being asked by people, can I have a listen to your show?
Yeah.
And it's like, it was a tricky, I had to get people, send them an email, they're going to miss the email and whatever. So I thought, right, I'll just set this little WhatsApp group up.
Yeah.
And then I'll put the show on there.
Yeah.
And that's,
ask any questions.
I can just send people it, and it's easy.
Yeah.
And it's because it's always about trying to get people to tune
Connect
in, really. Yeah.
And tune in.
And listen.
Yeah.
So it's, that's been about 10 years, must be 10 years now I've been doing it. And it started off from being an amateur to now where I'm nearly not an amateur.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've got a good radio voice. So
it kind of works out, yeah. And it's, to be honest, it's my kind of DJing. I really enjoy that kind of DJing. I mean, I DJ out, but I gave up DJing to dance floors. I didn't give it up. It's just not my. It's not really where I want to be. I like being able to just sort of play people want to listen to.
What sort of stuff did you play on the dance floor? Because you're not a massive electronic music fan, are you? Or you were,
but you're
not now.
I used to be, and I appreciate it. Like the early Detroit stuff, I was really into, and the Chicago house scene and all that.
Yeah. What was that sort of stuff you played at on the dance floor? Was it more funk and soul?
No, I kind of really. I think like, especially with like, I used to go for the weirder sort of Carl Craig records and the weirder Derek May and Juan Atkin records.
Jazzier side of things.
Yeah, and the stuff that was probably still the same really listening music, but probably a bit heavier. But
bit duff.
Yeah. I never used to DJ that out. I probably used to DJ in the 90s, early 90s. It was probably funk, rare groove, jazz and soul, but the dance floor stuff. I used to play a bit of house music actually, but I kind of sacked that after a while because I've ended up buying all these records that I just was like, I don't really care about these records. I'm just really buying them just to sort of play the following week,
to carry
and just be on top of stuff.
I agree. Yeah, I'm same with me. I always play I prefer the warm-up stuff really. I can't be bothered.
And they're the records you can kind of keep as well and listen to, but if I DJ out now, I'm sort of doing things like Spiritland, where it's kind of like, it's about playing background music, but you can sort of get away with a few things. Last time I was in there, they're quite up for me having it up quite loud.
Yeah.
Played a lot of strings, kind of played soundtracks, deconstructed kind of strings and beat stuff, but just sort of nice grooves.
I've always loved Spiritland.
It's good in there, you know. Thank God it's there, you know.
Yeah,
it's a great place.
It is, and it's central. It's easy to get to. The cocktails are great, and the music's great, and the sound system's incredible.
Yeah, the sound system's incredible.
Yeah.
I played a record in there the other week, and it was kind of towards the end of the night, because it goes. Sometimes it's like, especially in the winter, it goes like about 11:15. Sometimes it can be like
dead,
emptied out, and nothing to do with my DJing. and I put on some old jazz records, and I just sat right in the middle of those speakers, and I was just like, gosh, sounds great.
Yeah, they owned. They by my other shop on the same road, on Charlotte Road, before they opened up Spiritland.
Oh, that's right, Merchants
Tavern. Yeah.
So I used to do that as well. Yeah.
Did you?
Because they had a pair of the.
So you know Neil?
No, Paul. I always knew.
Yeah.
Paul, who's the guy I've always dealt with.
Yeah, there was the Merchants Tavern was Neil, and he was friends with Paul.
Right.
Angela Hartnett's boyfriend, who's the.
Oh, okay. So they were doing the food.
So they were doing the food.
Right, and
then I'd just walk past there, and I'd see all these records just in the window. I'm like, that's weird. Like,
they had these killer speakers, old school Wellingtons. I forgot what they're called. Are they Tannoy Wellingtons or something like that?
That's right. Yeah.
They had some killer speakers, and it's like. But again, it was kind of one of those ones where it was that new way of like DJing to people sitting down. I'm quite happy to do that, to be honest, because it's about keeping the mood. As long as you don't play it too depressing.
You're looking around for a tapping foot all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stop that. But it's all based on those, you know, like Paul said many times. It's about those the jazz kisser, and when he went to Japan for the first time. Have you ever been to Japan?
I haven't, but I did buy your Sea Organ album, which was in Japan, wasn't it? Where was that?
No, that's in Croatia.
Croatia, that's right.
Yeah, Zadar.
That was an interesting
That's
album.
a mad record. Yeah, it's like I was talking to someone else about that the other day. It was just, I don't know.
When you were telling me about it, I was like, wow, I've got to get that. And we had it up on there for a while, not listening to it because it was. The other barbers would be like, what's this?
This, yeah.
But I was like, this is brilliant on a pair of earphones. If you just want to
go there,
or just amazing.
Yeah, someone else said that to me. It's good, puts them to sleep. You want to go there? So we were we were playing in the band. I used to be in a band called the Superimposers, back in sort of like 2004, 2005, and it was kind of sunshine pop, singer-songwriter stuff, but with sort of lush kind of production and sort of warm production to it, analog production to it. And Luke Unabomber and Justin used to do the Electric Elephant, and they used to do a festival in this little tiny Petrocane, I think it was called, which I think is what's their festival that's in Croatia?
Love International.
Love International. I think they do. Tisno. Up the road is Petrocane. And Petrocane had this outdoors club, which is where I think Barbarella's is.
Yeah.
And we were asked to go and play live at Barbarella's, outside Barbarella's. So we did it a couple of years on the trot. And my friend Moon Boots, have you ever heard a guy called Moon Boots, DJ Aficionado, all that crowd?
I've heard of Aficionado, yeah.
Jason Boardman and Moon Boots.
Yep. I didn't know it was Moon Boots.
Yeah, so so Moon Boots was there, and he was like, "You've got to go and check out the Sea Organ." I was like, "What's the Sea Organ?" He goes, "I can't explain it. You just got to go and check it out." So we had a car, me and Sarah there. In fact, Florence was with us. I think she must have been about 2, and so we bombed down to. No, she was a bit older than that, 4 or 5. So we bombed down to this next port.
Yeah.
And it was a working port. You can get a boat to Italy from there onto the Adriatic, and. I was like, what's all this about in the Sea Organ? Anyway, so we had a mooch about, there's an old market town, and then we went round the corner and suddenly could hear this sort of drone sound. And like literally, like, I don't know how big it is. I should know the details for this because I wrote it all down on the back of the album sleeve.
Yeah.
But it's the size of the harbour wall they turned it into an organ that's played by the sea.
Wow.
Basically,
and the water going through it,
pushing up the waves, pushing underneath the water, pushing underneath it, and then the sound comes out the pipes at the top, and then there's like these steps that go down.
When was that built?
2000 and early 2000s.
So reasonably new then.
It's reasonably new, but it was to regenerate that whole bit that had been done that had been affected by the war.
Great idea.
So yeah, but you're like, oh my God, they're putting money into like this sort of this architect had designed an organ and an instrument to be played by the sea.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was just like mesmerised. I was just sitting there, so I cannot believe this. This is mad. And it all depends on what state the sea's in.
Yeah, imagine what it's like with a storm.
I know, exactly. So unfortunately, we were there in August, so it was nice weather a lot of the time. So it's kind of still, so it didn't really change too much. A little boat would go past and it would affect it.
Wow.
But I used to record a lot of sounds. I used to do a lot of field recordings. I always have my recorder with me. So anyway, so we went back to the festival, and anyway, that evening, Sarah was like, what should we do tonight? I said, I'm going back to Cesar. I want to go and see that sea organ in the night time. Anyway, I went back about 8 times.
Did you? Yeah, got obsessed by it?
Yeah, I got obsessed by it. Just sitting there, just couldn't believe it. It was just such a mad thing.
Wow,
it's just
quite sort of meditation sort of.
Yeah, it was like
you can hear what the tide is making, can't you?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting idea. I'd like
I don't think that's ever happened anywhere in the world.
There is another one. There is one in California. There's one because I started looking into it. There's one in California which is up in San Francisco, and funnily enough, there's one in Blackpool.
No way.
But
is there?
It's a lot different. It's a lot different. It's more like it's played. I never go up that part of the world, so I don't really know. But it's not like the one in Zadar.
No,
but
I'm sure the settings weren't quite as
quite as beautiful. No,
beautiful.
But I think they should do one on the Thames. Be a great idea. I'm sure you could, if you had the right contacts. If anybody wants to get in touch, I'm quite happy to come up with the plan.
Yeah, we can raise some funds for that, definitely. I mean, I don't know how you can do that in the Thames. That'll probably sound pretty rank, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
It does create a wave, but yeah. So yeah, the sea organ, pretty mad little thing. So anyway, I recorded it and ended up, and someone texted me one day because I was going on about this blooming thing for ages. Someone texted me one day and said, "Tune into NTS now." I was like, why? I'm kind of busy. He said they're doing a live broadcast from the sea organ in Zadar, and I was suddenly like, oh no, someone else is going to do this record before I get a chance to do it, because I kind of had this idea.
Yeah.
So I kind of tuned in. Terrible recording of the sea organ. So I was like, right, okay, mine's good. My recordings were all sort of like truly sort of organised and sorted out. So I put it out on a record.
Yeah.
There's only about 3 left.
Is there?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
12 years
I've got
later.
one of them. Yeah. Was it 12 years ago? Well, yeah, it was. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they're rare now. A shop in Japan, funny enough, because you were saying it was in Japan, a shop in Japan bought 50 off me.
Yeah.
They were obsessing about it.
Were they? And they're on Discogs now, are they? I suppose.
They'd probably get one for 9 quid, 5 quid, 6 quid. But there is a few available at wonderfulsound.com.
Of course there is. And you're going on to that, your singles club, which is brilliant. I mean, most of the DJs that I listen to on various radio stations, they're all sort of the Balearic sounding, or many a time they're always mentioning Wonderful Sound.
Really?
So I found this track, Balearic Mike. There's a lot of
Mike's
these.
A big follower. Yeah, Mike's on there.
He's always like saying this is from Miles Copeland and the Wonderful Sound Libraries, a wonderful label, and I encourage everyone to have a little look at it. Big advocate of yours, and they're right. It's true. There's some amazing things that you've got on it, and it's every 2 months. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so you basically it's a record club basically, and it kind of came out of the idea that we were putting out albums, and every artist wanted to put out a single before the album came out, and I was like, okay, we'll do it. Let's just do it. And it was kind of when records were kind of sort of selling a bit better, so you could kind of take the risk. But singles, I mean, when we were doing the superimposers, we used to just do 7s to start with. And we just used to do 7s, and then we used to take them into Rough Trade, and we couldn't put in enough of them. Rough Trade was just in Ladbroke Grove, Portobello Road. Rough Trade would just take these 7s off of us, and we'd easily do 300, 400, 500 7s. It would be like a lot of them through Rough Trade.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got a little distribution deal when we were doing that. Anyways, but sort of that was like, sort of jump forward about 7, 8, 9, 10 years later. I'm doing 7s on Wonderful Sound, the label. It's like sometimes you'd sell out, sometimes you'd be sell 30 7s. Record shops didn't want to take them anymore. Rough Trade had sort of changed, and you couldn't really take them in there and hand them over the counter. So I sat down with a mate of mine one day. I said, how do you think about this guy? He was into his music. I said, how do you think about this idea if I'm going to set a record club up? And at the time it was like X amount. It started off being about £3.50 a month. I said, it's going to be £3.50. I said, you get a record every other month. And this guy was really into his music, and he was like, no chance. No one's ever going to do that. I was like, well, really, I think it's a really good idea. And to be honest, if I can't get the singles working, the label's kind of got to start. I've got to think of something else to do, because it's just kind of at a dead end. Definitely we're doing 7s. We're doing albums, it's kind of okay, sort of balances out sometimes. Anyway, I did it anyway, because I was putting these records out. And first of all, it started off just as Wonderful Sound artists. So basically, I put a single up as people I was putting their records out anyway. And I basically announced this record club. Anyway, straight away, there was about 80 people signed up. And I was like, oh, that's okay, great. Sort of do the maths. You sort of think, okay, well.
Straight away.
Yes, so it was pretty impressive. I was like, okay, that's pretty good. So if I can get rid of 80 straight away, I've only got to probably get rid of another 50 or 60, and it's paid for itself, and the artist can have the rest of the 7s, and I'll move to the next one. Anyway, so that's kind of the idea of it. And it's now got to this point now where it's kind of turned into this other kind of thing in a really positive way, where it's not necessarily me, the artists that are signed to Wonderful Sound. I'm kind of licensing stuff, finding stuff. There's another guy called Kerry Preston who's into music, that sort of helps me with the radio show sometimes. And if there's stuff, a lot of people can put music out digitally these days quite easily, but to take the hit and put your money into putting a record out and losing it, most people don't want to do that. So we can find music that's kind of ripe for being put out on a 7-inch on the digital platforms. Mm-hmm. So basically, I just approach people, say, look, really like this track. Do you want to do a 7? And pretty much 95% of the time, people are like, yes, please. They're
complimented as well, aren't
they?
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
I definitely want to do it.
And they've never had it on a 7-inch before. And it's mainly new artists, is it? Or are you finding old stuff?
It's new artists. I mean, the old, digging out, reissuing stuff. There's a few things out there, but there's so many people are doing it. My friend Johnny Trunk's doing it, and even he says it's getting harder and harder to find new things. Mm. So there's been a few reissues along the way. Kerry Preston's been sort of a big part of that, digging out reissues and dealing with artists who have there's like 2 tracks on an album from like 70s or 80s. But you're then dealing with somebody who's kind of like, I don't know. It's just kind of like it's if there's something that I really want to put out, but it's a lot more complicated licensing stuff. Mm.
You've got the management companies.
You've either got, one guy I got in touch with, he ended up being a solicitor, lawyer in Canada, and it's suddenly like, you're like, okay, right, sends over this big long contract, and you're sort of like, look, to be honest, I just want to put out 250 records.
Trying to make money out of it.
I'm not gonna rip you off or anything, but I know that's part of the reason there's contracts. Anyway, so we kind of go, sometimes if I really want to put out, dig out an old artist, we'll look into it. But most of the time it's new artists and young kids, and they can't believe they're going to have a record out. And I'll send them, I'll send them physical copies of the record so they can do whatever they want with. And the key selling point to turn it into a business sort of discussion with the singles club is now there's enough members where I don't have to actually release a single. So you can only get it if you're a member of the club, pretty much.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Some artists want to release it as well, so maybe I'll press a few more, but most of the time...
It's for singles only, so it's to order without having the pre-sale. It's all there. You know that they're going to take it. You know the subscription.
Well, people don't know what they're getting either, which is kind of interesting.
Fun of it. And you've built that trust as well. With
well,
them.
I know. I'm still kind of surprised that people want to do that. Whenever I tell people that's what happens, they're like, "What?" And people don't actually know what they're going to get. And I'm like, "No, they don't." But they trust the spirit of the label and the nature of the thing. So, you know, we did the thing with Paul Weller. I wrote a track with Paul Weller and Dr. Robert, and that was kind of one of the singles. And we kind of had to take advantage of knowing that was an opportunity to make some money at last. You know.
Yeah.
So
that's a great little collab with Paul Weller.
Yeah, it was great. You know, it was kind of, it was a brilliant thing, and he wrote a brilliant song over the top of a piece of music I put together with Robert from the Blow Monkeys, and to the point where he loved it so much, and he kind of turned around and said, "Well, I don't really feel like this is good enough. Sort of no one's checked this track out enough, you know." And we kind of sold a fair few singles, but it just shows you got to get it to market it to that point of Paul Weller. You got to have a lot of money behind you, basically. So and it's like there's only so far I could take it. So he ended up then playing the track and put it on his 66 album, and it was the lead single off his 66 album.
Right. Wow.
So it was real good, full circle for me, because in the 90s and the Style Council and then Paul Weller's solo career.
Into his style as well, isn't he?
Yeah, it was part of music I was into and listening to. And genuinely chuffed,
I love that Paul Weller, the version with the Lynch Mob.
The Brendan Lynch one,
I think it was one of Andrew's tracks, actually.
He used to play it, yeah.
Graham was playing it, Sherman was playing it in here. I was like, what is this? I think I was in the toilet. And I come out of the toilet, I was like, what the hell is this? They go, it's Paul Weller.
Yeah.
But it's Lynch Mob, there's three of them.
It's Brendan Lynch.
Brendan Lynch, that's it, yeah.
It's Brendan Lynch, the producer.
Amazing riff.
Yeah.
Bow, bow, bow,
yeah. But yeah, Andrew Weatherall used to play that, yeah.
Do you want to go through a few of your little singles here you got? I mean, you brought some over.
I brought some in. I brought a little gift for you, all the way over from across the road.
And when you go home at night, you jump in a taxi and jump
there's a car waiting outside for me, yeah. So yeah, the latest one. So this I've brought in the latest few releases really. These guys are really interesting because they're I don't know whether that's going to sort of like flash, but is that going to be like is that for reflecting?
No,
you
can see it. No, it's good.
So yeah, these guys are really interesting. So they kept coming up on my Instagram feed, Local Dish, and they're based in Canada, and they kept putting up little clips of their records, and they kept putting up little clips of their records. I'll be like, oh, that's pretty good. What's that? And then I'll go to their website. It'll be sold out. So and I was like, oh God, they're doing all right. Sort of like it's only been up 2 days, that post. Anyway,
it's just the one in you were telling me about earlier on.
Yeah. Right. So these are these guys. So basically, 2 days later, 3 days later, or a week later, they put another one up, and it's just footage of them playing it on a record player. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and get one of those. Go there, click on their website, sold out. I'm like, are these guys selling out 300 records in like literally 2 days? This is mental.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I dropped them a line, got in touch with them, and it turns out they're writing the records. There's a few of them. They're based in Canada. I don't know how old they are. They're mid-20s. Yeah, they're young kids. They're into it. Maybe they're a bit older, but they're writing it. They're playing it. There's a gang of them. There's a Brazilian guy. There's steel pan drums on.
Looks very sort of Brazilian.
Yeah, that guy's Brazilian, and there's jazz funk, and then there's acoustic stuff and folk stuff. And it turns out they're not only mixing it, but they're also cutting the records, and they're literally doing 10 or 20 records, and that's why they were selling out straight away. And I was just like, okay, now it all starting to make sense. So I just dropped them a line and said, look, do you want to do a UK release, because they're based in Toronto. And I was like, no one can get these records anyway. This is going to be a good little 7 to get. So yeah, so this has been a really successful one, and this is particularly special because this is a cover version of a Nick Drake track, but it's played the guy's played it acoustic guitar. This Brazilian guy, João Leal, has played it over the top of a traditional Brazilian tune.
Right,
So it's a mashup.
Wow.
But it's in a
all
really...
done live?
Yeah, all live.
All instruments, no electronic stuff?
There's all instruments. And this version is a different version than they put out. And while they were cutting the record, they were playing the melodica over the top. So there's actually they haven't got a copy of that recording, apart from from there.
Wicked.
They're kind of doing it. They're just making the rules up
themselves. That's awesome. That's the way it should be done.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
So they're really interesting. Local dish. They're brilliant. Check them out online. You'll never be able to get one of their 7s. They sell out straight away. So that's rare.
Wicked. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, so that's a good one. And then this guy, Pierre Duplant, he's an old friend of mine. He's, among other things, he does plenty of stuff. But he's Sean Lee's sound engineer. Okay. So he engineers all Sean Lee's stuff. Sean works for other people as well, but Pierre's always been the main guy there. But he also does. He put a record out before on Wonderful Sound called The Cranford Look, and also Disco Door, and it's all kind of library music. And this is a really good one, and it's sonically perfect. Pierre is like perfection. Yeah. He doesn't muck about. No, it's top quality.
Wicked.
So that's a good one. These guys, Mystery School. This is a deep jazz. This is just one of the recent ones. This is a deep jazz trio, and they're live. They record it live, and they kind of just jam. And it's drums, bass, flute. Rupert, who's a drummer, he's a session drummer, and he's played with everybody. He's a top guy. It's all based on the Isle of Wight. There's kind of a little bit of a bees association with some of them, and it's that world. They're coming out of that world, but that's a really good one. So and Rupert's always I'm always kind of doing stuff with Rupert.
And stuff in weird sounds in the background. And
they're just it's
beta bandery.
Yeah, and it's all analog, and it's all tape. They're all working to tape, and so it's all.
Do you do the artwork as well? Do you choose the artwork, or?
I usually leave it to the artist. Actually, I did actually do the artwork on that one, but most of the time I leave it to the artist, and if they don't come up with something, we figure it out. But
So is this the 158th one? Is that right?
No, that's just mate. No, it's not 158th one. That's a catalogue number. 158 release on Wonderful Sound.
Right.
So and that goes. So it's catalogue numbers sort of like 001 was the first album.
Yeah.
But then the digital single might be 002, and then
Gotcha.
So it's not all physical stuff.
I see.
This guy Joe Harvey White, Bobby Lee featuring featuring Strumming Bell. But Joe Harvey White is a pedal steel player. He's around a lot. He's got a show on Soho Radio as well, but he's around a lot doing stuff. And I just bumped into him at a gig up in Hackney one night, Harry Arsono gig, who was DJing up in Hackney, up on Mare Street. And he said, "Do you want to put out a 12-inch on we've just done this thing, we've got this remix, and I said, do you want to put a 12-inch out?" I said, "Well, I only do 7s at the moment." He goes, "All right then." So we just agreed to do a 7, basically. So it was like, but I said, obviously I'll have to check it out. But it's brilliant. It's like a sort of, do you know what? Smoke Signals. It sounds like something Weatherall would have played years ago. It's just like a real chuggy. Yeah. It's a chuggy road trip. But the B-sides, are good mixed by BJ Smith, who does stuff with like on Claremont 56. He's involved with all those characters.
Drum machines in there.
Yeah. It's a good DJ record.
Wicked.
And then this one...
That's a great cover as well.
Yes, good cover.
I do go for things. Sometimes I don't care what the music looks like.
Yeah.
And when I'm going through stuff, I go, that's got to be good, because they put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, no, they're good. That's good. So it's taken from the album. That's the album cover. But I don't know whether they've received... They have another one. They haven't released it as a record. They've released it digitally. Right. So it's kind of like... you can't get this record. You can't get this version of this single... The original, you can't get it on a record. No. And you can't. And this remix there is actually another version of this remix floating around, but this is done specifically for the 7-inch because they had to shorten it down, and then they ended up dubbing it out and making it. Yeah, it's a good groove, that one. I think you'll really like that one. Chuggy. And then this is one of my favourites. This is like bit of modal jazz. It's like a cross between Bill Evans and Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead, who does a lot of soundtrack stuff. It's like he did Phantom Thread and. What was the film just now that had? What was the film that was just recently?
Bob Dylan one?
No, the other one, Paul Anderson. One Thing After Another.
Oh, I can't remember that one.
I can never remember the name of that film. Anyway, Johnny Greenwood does a lot of soundtrack stuff for him, and he's really good. He's a talented guy. So one side of this is in that world, and the other side sounds like Bill Evans, modal jazz, kind of beautiful. And this guy, Tom McBrien, is a keyboard player with Sholto and pianist with Sholto. And Sholto are guys that are based up in Hackney. I
don't know Sholto.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really, really good.
They're Hackney based, though, they're Londoners.
Yeah. And they've got a studio up there, and they're into, do you know David Axelrod? Do any of that stuff?
Yes, yeah, I've got that David Axelrod.
Okay, so they're massively into that world.
Are they? Yeah.
And they did a tribute, David Axelrod.
Yacht rocky sort of thing?
Not so much, no. It's a bit more sort of psych, funk, brick breaks.
That's different versions of other things as well.
Yeah. So they did, Sholto did like, he did like a David Axelrod, I don't want to say tribute night, but I suppose it was really at the Jazz Cafe, and they replayed one of his David Axelrod album up there.
It's something about you, isn't it?
And they can do strings, and there's strings going on, and there's always about 10 of them on stage, and Oscar's a drummer, and they're the real deal, and they're late 20s, and they're on it. They remind me of me when I was in 20 years ago.
I'm so glad there are kids like that out there. I mean, there's so many people that I think that.
Well, I stumbled upon them at some gig.
And then there are kids out there that love underground stuff and stuff that's like there for the music. Yeah. They're still there, and there is still hope.
Yeah, so I stumbled upon them at a gig, and I was like, who are this lot? I've got to get to know this lot. Anyway, so I've made a few inquiries and eventually got Oscar onto the show. And now we're in the studio, we're working together, we're doing some stuff.
Oh,
so yeah, so there's going to be a release coming up soon, which is me, Oscar, Dave, and there's another guy called Singe Clark, who's an Australian guy, I put out one of his singles as well. That one's There's None of Those Left, and he's a top talent as well. He's same sort of 30, 35 or something, and it's really good. I'm involved with these characters that are into what I'm into, but they're...
Yeah, when you're in the studio, are you playing instruments, or are you...
I'm kind of self-taught keyboards and omnichord. Do you know the omnichord?
Yeah.
I own the omnichord. The omnichord's my instrument.
Yeah.
But I'm more ideas really in production.
And you're in the studio with twiddling the knobs and getting the sound right, and that's what you've always been in the studio, everything.
Yeah, making sure it goes in the right direction, really, and what I think it should anyway, and just
helping the youngsters along as well, really.
Exactly, giving them some ideas. Exactly. But they're the real deal. They've got a little studio up the road, SFJ, and up in Mare Street, and I'm total respect for them. They're really good. They're really talented, and they know what to do. They're players.
Are they playing?
Sholto's playing in February.
Yeah.
They're playing at Third. Is it Third Avenue? There's a new venue in Denmark Street.
Is there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a new venue there. Third Avenue, is it called?
Okay.
I don't know whether maybe it's... I don't think
it's brand spanking new then, because it's been knocked down, isn't it? It's
all right. I don't think it's where the 12 Bar Club was. I'm not sure, to be honest. I've never been there. But,
interesting. I didn't know that. It's worth knowing that.
But
they're starting to pop up all these little tiny venues again, aren't they?
Yeah, well, we've been through this whole period of weirdness where it's like country shut down and the global, the world shut down, and it feels like half of London's been knocked down and rebuilt. And But they play out live, and then they session with other characters as well, and they produce other things, and so they're really good. So anyway, so Tom is a pianist with them, and they produce. So they're all over that. There's a harpist on there, Rachel's on there, and so that's a good little seven there. So they're the guys. They're the ones to watch out for. I mean, one of the things you were saying to me, sort of like Local Dish, I would say is my favourite artist from last year.
Really?
And it's going to be this year. And Sholto and SFJ are my favourite artists from last year, and they're the future.
Right. Brilliant.
They're, for me anyway, in the world I'm doing, because it's really interesting there, and they know they're connected to all the other people that are doing stuff.
It's a small community. That's it now, isn't it?
Same world.
There's some bad things about the digital world, but there's also some amazing things about it. Is that you can connect so easily with people that are into your stuff. You don't have to...
Exactly. And it's like, I'm not involved in the dance world so much, but I do, but it kind of crosses over a little bit, and it's like, it's probably down tempo. Even in the dance world, from a house DJ or a club DJ, I'm looked upon as probably more sort of, not, I don't want to say chill out, but down tempo. And say always play at Houghton, because Craig and Amanda are good friends of mine, and we've always connected and known each other for years. And I played Houghton this year on the Sunday morning, 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's great to play at those kind of those times, because it's like no one really wants to dance at that point, or they get off their arc.
Get some food and
exactly, and people are chilling out, and it's just like, that's my kind of DJ, and book me for that. That's the one I want to do. It's not really. I can handle doing a club dance floor, but it's
as long as it's not too late.
It's not too late for me, But from the clubbing side of things, I'm always looked about. I'm from that world, really. I went clubbing and did all that thing.
Many people were. I think anyone like 89, 90. That's what forced you into the music side of things. Yeah. That's what it did with me. The first time I ever got to experience that euphoria was, in a nightclub.
Yeah.
Right? And
but I was always DJing, you see.
That's, you want to get to that, and you're always constantly. I think there's a mad fact. It's like it's only 20% of people actually listen to new music after the age of 30.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a known fact. I mean, that says a lot about a lot of my friends. They're like, I don't know how you keep up with all this music. I'm like, well, because I'm constantly. If I listen to something more than 5 or 6 times, I'm bored. I want to go on to the next thing. But they're quite happy listening to, Radio 90s or Radio 80s.
Well, it's kind of can be hard work, can't it, I suppose? That's why people do radio shows. But the trouble is these days, not only with Spotify, there's so much music, and where do you start? And I suppose that's why people go to those generic playlists of just sort of like, well, I'll just put that on. And, I mean, that's where the money's made for artists. If you can get into one of those Spotify generic playlists. Yeah. No matter what your thoughts are on Spotify, unfortunately there is income coming from it. But there's so much music coming out that it's sort of like, unless a lot of people haven't got time, or enthusiasm dwindles, doesn't it, as you get older, if it's not your world. It does. But there's also a lot of internet radio, so it's like, where do you go for that as well?
That's where I usually find mine, internet radio. I usually find my DJs that I like, and I listen to them. I like the way they're talking. I like the way there's probably about 20 of them, including yourself as well. But you listen to them. You build trust, don't you? There was someone introduced me. I've been listening to The Do recently, literally last week, and the Balearic. No, not the Balearic. It's the morning breakfast show on The Do. And literally this week I've only started doing it, but my mate has been telling me to listen to it for about 2 years. Right. And I'm like, no, I'll decide when I start listening to it. And I just started listening to it. And I'm like, actually, I've been missing out for 2 years. This is right up my street. Yeah. It's funny, depending on what mood you're in as well.
Is that regular? Is that every day?
I think it is. I haven't listened to it all week yet, but really funny guy. He's just pretty chilled.
What's his name?
He's from London.
The one that's based up in East. I know the one you mean. Yeah.
He's really good. You've got Richard Sen on there. You've got Serotonin as well.
Yeah, because he broke away from doing NTS, didn't he? He used to do NTS.
That's right.
And then through COVID, it was kind of like that kind of took off a little bit. His radio show took off.
That's right.
Held it all together for everybody.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. I really enjoy it, especially in the morning. Like with on the weekday. But you're introduced to loads of new stuff as well.
Well, it's havoc. Also, it's like there's a bit of slapdash going on with those shows. Those it's like,
real.
Yeah, it's real. Whereas the radio shows, I love radio. I'm really into radio. I can listen to Radio 4. I really like Monocle Radio for its talk, and Radio 3 is brilliant on some occasions. All those pro stations. BBC 6 is good.
Polished.
Yeah, it's all brilliant. But what's a good example is, say, Giles Peterson on Radio 6, which is sort of like a really pro show. But if you listen, he does a show on his Worldwide FM on a Friday. And it's slapdash. It's falling apart at the seams, but it's great.
A bit of a laugh.
But it's great. It's great because it just feels like it's how it's getting it work. It's understanding. It's just a bit more not natural, but I really enjoy that sort of like
same here. It's
people walking in,
isn't it?
And I kind of try and do that with Soho Radio one, the Wonderful Sound Libraries, but I'm the only one there on a Sunday. Because it's kind of this.
You got to talk to yourself and pretend you got friends.
Well, I just end up talking to myself, or talk to that one person, like the John Peel rule. Where, you just literally just talking to one person. Hopefully, it zones in a bit more. But But yeah, no, I do really enjoy it. I really enjoy doing the radio. It's
Do you split it up into? It's a couple of hours, isn't it?
yeah, it's 2 hours.
And do you do the 15-minute? I remember reading Chris Evans's book on radio because he loves radio, didn't he? And I didn't really like him too much when I was younger, but his book talks about how you set out a radio show in 15-minute slots.
Right.
And there's a structure to it. And I thought, how are you going to talk for? There's a lot of talking on his ones, though, isn't there? And then he just puts on a couple of tracks, and it's always about talking.
Okay, yeah, it's the other way around. Yeah, I do it the other way around, really. I sort of like, music, there's introduction, and then it's about putting it's about trying to sort of create, however ridiculous this might sound to most people, it's sort of like trying to create a little journey of music that's sort of, but it's not, I don't just play old music. It's kind of like I try and find new bits and pieces and come up, find new things that have been reissued. And there's 15 minutes of music, a little bit of a break, 15 minutes of music, and then we go and call my friend in Manchester, who's also an artist on the label. Nev Cotty, yeah. And during COVID, I was phoning up Nev. I said, "You all right, Nev?" Because he lives in Manchester city centre. So, yeah, you all right? How's he getting on? I just call him all the time, It's just like, because everyone was literally not going. Everyone, you were staying at home, weren't you?
Yeah.
And I said, "Why don't you come on the show?" And we're just trying to, I was doing the show from the flat during COVID.
Really?
Yeah, I was doing it, and I was doing it every Sunday. I nearly started doing it every day at one point. So I was like, I've got nothing, it's like nothing to do.
No. The house is clean.
Yeah. It was sunny, do an hour show in the morning, go and sit in the, it was just like, anyway, so we ended up I was doing a weekly show, so I started phoning Nev up. And funny enough, I listened back to it recently, and it was me and Nev going, I was just like, "All right, Nev, how you doing then? What's going on?" And he'd be like, and Nev used to have a radio show in Manchester. And so he's a pro, basically. He knows how to handle a radio presenter and be interviewed and to interview somebody else. So it was instantly very natural. And anyway, the following week he said, "Well, I'm going to talk about films. I'm going to call them the films." And then we came up with the idea, Nevflix.
Brilliant.
And it's just been carrying on. And it's probably 15 minutes of just hilarity.
Just you two chatting.
Just chatting, and then him focusing on a film. He doesn't really ever seem to watch anything older than that's made after 1978.
Brilliant.
Everything's kind of like classic.
Proper geek.
Yeah, and it'll be an obscure one. And then he also tries to find one with a good soundtrack, so we can play a couple of tracks off it. Yeah, so we do that, and then somebody donates a track, and then we do a little bit in the middle, which stretches it out, which is more probably a long track, which you can't necessarily.
That's the other 15 minutes.
And then there's a little mix at the end. So yeah, you kind of got to kind of organise it. Otherwise, you're just playing music for an hour, and
you're running out of stuff. Yeah.
And it kind of gets a bit boring for everybody.
Yeah.
And lucky enough, I just managed to slot into sort of enjoying it and being able to chat away a little bit. So.
And it's only a walk away.
And there's nothing better than being in Soho on a Sunday.
No, exactly.
I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't want to be in a field. I don't want to be in the countryside. I don't mind being by the beach. But being in Soho on a Sunday afternoon.
I don't think I've done it for a long time. Is it quiet, or is it just loads of people out the night before?
It's quieter than what it should be, yeah. It's quieter than usual.
It's just nice.
And then the French House is a decent time to go after the show for a little sort of like decompress, an excuse. It's no better place to be for me anyway. I totally enjoy it. Sundays are great.
Yeah. So that's 10 a.m. on Sunday.
No, it's midday till 2.
Midday till 2.
Yeah,
that's right.
Fortnightly.
Yeah, I
so
listen to
it's
it
a bit tricky. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, that's the way it goes, isn't it? People listen to it on catch up, and people sort of like listen to it here, there, and everywhere. And then from that, the WhatsApp group spawned itself. Is that the right expression to use? It grew out of the WhatsApp group. Grew out of it, and people getting involved, and yes, it's good. It's a good little community.
Can anyone join the WhatsApp group, or is it?
Yeah, anyone can join. Yeah, anyone can join. I never really know how to get people to. There is a link on an email somewhere.
You don't give out your phone number, do you?
Well, I do basically. That's what I end up having to do. That's what for ages I was scratching my head going. So what am I doing here? I'm just giving people my phone number.
Yeah.
Like the global, like this is my phone number.
Yeah.
But I think unfortunately that's what you have to do.
If you want his phone number, give us a shout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but But it just is an opportunity for you to sort of easily tap into the radio show. And then I kind of put, if there's a singles club release, I'll stick that on there and a little bit of promo, you know. It's all about sort of, if people are into it. I mean, it's all honest.
Yeah.
Honest as the day is long.
I was going to talk on your clobber as well, your other little business side hustle that you've got going on.
Yeah.
If you've got time, we could do it another time.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. Let's do it now. Yeah.
I didn't even know that about you until you told me last time about you doing your. You've teamed up with a friend of yours.
Yeah, I run a company. Graham Cassie is sort of like the king of vintage, basically, is his name. But it's kind of turned into something else now. So I got to know him when I used to do a stall on the Portobello Road, and I was kind of selling. Me and my dad were doing it, and I was kind of selling. Originally, I was working for somebody else, selling clothes, and then I got my own stall, and was doing Friday. I started doing Sundays, and I eventually was doing Friday. I approached Honest. That's right. I approached Honest John's, and asked him if I could do a stall, because getting on the market is a tricky
Portobello.
one. Portobello Road, and it's tricky getting a stall on the market. It's kind of like there's a lot of sort of politics
waiting lists
and all the rest of it. And I was doing Sundays, but I couldn't get one on a Friday, which was one of the busy days, and Saturdays. So I went into Honest John's and said, can I put a stall outside your shop? Because everyone's got stalls outside their shops, and they didn't have one. And they said, oh yeah, all right then. So I started doing a stall outside Honest John's. Brilliant. And it was kind of like...
On a Friday?
On a Friday,
nice.
Yeah. I saw loads of mad people as well, Prince Buster and all that. It was a crazy time, you know. It's like a really interesting time back in the sort of late 90s, I suppose it was. And I was kind of selling bric-a-brac and objet d'art. Someone used to say that I sold. I wasn't too sure about that, but it was just bits and pieces. And my dad was picking stuff up. And
what sort of stuff? Clothes?
No, it was like objects.
Right,
it was
objects like
vases
and vases,
yeah, and
jugs.
sort of 60s stuff and
Wicked.
50s stuff and radios, old radios.
Yeah.
And that probably didn't work. You had to put a battery the size of a brick in to get it working, and
VHSs.
Glass and furniture and I kind of, you know, I used to do that Friday, and I eventually got a stall on a Saturday, and I eventually got a stall and I was doing Sunday. And Graham Cassie had a clothes stall on a Friday, which is the main day, and on Saturday. Anyway, so I kind of stopped doing the market for a bit, and I bumped into him one day, and I said to him, I've heard you've opened up a showroom and stopped doing the market. I said, if you ever need anybody, you know, I'll come and give you a hand. You know, I was looking for a bit of extra work. And anyway, so eventually I've ended up running his company, and the showroom is basically, it's like...
He doesn't let everyone in there, does he?
No one's allowed in. You're not allowed in. Absolutely no way. Not unless you're a design team. So we basically rent clothes to design teams. A little bit of film, but we rent clothes to design teams, and we have the best luxury brands. We have all the luxury brands around the world come and visit us, and we have the high street brands come and visit us. And it's exactly the same as a songwriter being influenced by an old song. Designers have to get influenced, and they have to find inspiration in something else.
Right, so it's a museum, basically. They come and have a look to see.
That's not the sexiest
material,
word. We can't really work out.
It's not a museum, but like
people call it archive. We don't call it an
showcase.
archive. It's a showroom, and you come in, and we've got the best vintage clothes. There's some of the best vintage clothes in the world in that shop.
Wow.
Because we go shopping, showroom, not shop. We go shopping in Japan and Los Angeles and New York, and we buy amazing stuff that's worth a lot of money. And then people have the opportunity to rent it from us at a pretty decent cost, pretty decent price. And they're design teams, basically. So, and that world's gone mad at the moment. I don't know if people follow it, vintage clothes.
Yeah, I do,
vintage, but it's like
vintage stuff.
Sweatshirts in Japan, some of them are going for $20,000.
Yeah, wow.
It's mental. It's absolutely mental. And we've got all that sort of stuff. And we've got T-shirts. We've got Shackleton's sweater that he died in. It's mint.
Wow.
And we've got...
Do you get to use any of it? Or you can take it out?
Can't wear it.
Really, no.
It's not really for wearing, you know.
It's
too like
dated.
say, it's museum quality, you know. It's sort of like, it's too precious.
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting, it's a really niche business, and it's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's basically, like I say, it's the same as a songwriter. People are always a little bit like, oh, what people just nick ideas. I'm like, well, no one's got an original idea.
They just get their own version, don't they?
You know, someone's taught you to cut hair, haven't they?
Same with haircuts. I'm on like the 3rd round of mullets now, I think.
There you go.
All kind of little bit different.
A little bit different.
A little bit of, they've added the new techniques into it or whatever, but it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I now know, 28 years into it, I know what's coming next now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all going to grow out, it's going to get longer.
Yeah.
And
I know, because it's
interesting. Same with fashion.
Same fashion. It just goes in circles, doesn't it? But it slightly changes. Exactly the same. But yeah, with haircuts, it's like moustaches coming in, and I would never have said that 15 years ago. Apart from my mate Matthew, who's a hairdresser, and he had a moustache for ages. And I'm like, what you got a moustache for? And it's like, and he's probably started it, to be honest. Yeah. But it's interesting, isn't it? It's the way it works.
I grew a tash because I can't grow a beard, and all my mates were. I actually grew mine over pandemic underneath my mask,
right,
just to see what it looked like.
Right.
And then
it suits you.
I used to go up to. I remember going to B&Q once with my mask on, and I had to take my thing off to take my phone. I said, "I'm really sorry about the tash." paid for this hammer or whatever it was, and the lady just laughed. She went, "There's nothing wrong with it." I was like, "Really?" And then I went back home and I took it off. My kids just like, they had a meltdown. They're like, "You need to have your tash back." So I was like, "Okay, it's staying then," because I've got no hair and I can't grow a beard. I was like, "Wow, it's a man's prerogative sometimes." Isn't
there
it?
You go, yeah.
Facial hair.
Yeah, I can't do it, but no, I haven't got a problem with it. It's just interesting the way it goes.
Isn't it? I would never imagined it 15, 20 years ago. No way.
But yeah, so that's the world. That's the fashion world. So yeah, we go travelling. We go to Los Angeles buying pretty mad clothing. That's kind of. We spend a lot of money on it,
yes,
but
I'd love to do that. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
And you sort of fell into that, really, haven't you? Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm into clothes.
Into clothes, obviously. You're always dressed in.
Yeah, I'm into clothes, and then I've a lot of what I do with Wonderful Sound. The other side of what I do with Wonderful Sound is it's always been kind of one foot in fashion as well. I've done fashion shows for years.
You do Ollie's shows, don't you?
I used to do Oliver's shows when he was doing shows. He's not doing them anymore. No. I mean, after the pandemic, that world's kind of like. Yeah.
He told me how much it cost a minute, I think. It's like...
Well, they must have realised.
For an independent company, I don't know how they didn't even bother trying.
Yeah. And so they've all kind of stopped doing it. And that's why this London's men's show is non-existent, really. It's a real shame, really, but it's people like me charging too much money to be employed by. But
Lambs Conduit Street, it's a great spot for men's clothes, isn't it? Really,
it is. Yeah. It's good. It's good, and it's kind of like thank God for Oliver and Folk and the smaller brands. It's not sort of like chainy ones. And
no,
there was another guy.
They did have Universal Works. So they had their first one on here, didn't they? Universal Works, and they've had shut down. They've moved to King's Cross.
Soho, aren't they as well? Yeah.
And they've got Soho as well now. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was gutted when they moved it out. So it was,
the first guy I moved into the street doing clothes was next door, was where the women's folk is, and he was a guy called Pocket, and he was doing Japanese denim and pretty well tailored sort of like suits and workweary sort of tumble down kind of suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting guy.
I didn't know. I knew about Content.
Content, yeah, it was before then.
Paul...
Bio, guy's name's Bio. He was so I used to live next door. That's when I used to live next door to that shop, and he was kind of a friend of a friend. He was the first one here, and as soon as everyone started moving out, he's one of those guys. He was like, "I'm out of here," he moved somewhere else. Yeah. So, but it was interesting. He was an interesting guy, and he's still doing it. But
I know on his own in a little street somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere else. I'm not too sure where he is at the moment, but he's still doing it. Creatives, that's what you want. But it's good, people like Oliver and Cathal, and it's thank God for those characters to be like.
They're amazing and nice, really nice guys. They welcomed me to the street really well.
Yeah,
and they're always a bit daunting. The reason why I moved here was because it's an independent street, and I loved folk and I loved Oliver Spencer. I loved Universal Works, and I wanted to dump myself in the middle of that because there's no streets like this. I've got Old Street where there's no chains. Here there's no chains. There's not many other places in London.
Well, they're all going that way, aren't they? I mean,
there's no Pret-a-Manger for at least 100 metres here.
No, there seems to be that way where you sort of like walk down. Where was I the other day? And I was just thinking, it is nice here, but look at the shops. It's just.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, do you mean like out of Lambs Conduit Street? You say?
Yeah.
It's just bland, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, Soho's kind of holding it its own. They're kind of like Soho.
It's got better recently, I think. I think it was going to go downhill. They'll put all the rents up. I was looking at a place in Soho, and I thought, you know what, I can't do that. Loads of people I know shut down, and I don't know what's happened, but it's somehow stayed cool, hasn't it? It's got that. Still going to be that grimy, lots of.
Yeah, because it's, well, do you know what? I think a lot of it is
characters in there as well.
Yeah,
you're not going to move those guys out.
No.
You know, there's a friend of ours who did a show taking photographs of the day that the pandemic ban was lifted, and all of the movers and shakers came out all dressed up proper, you know, like they do. And he went out and he just took loads of photos of all these people finally being allowed to go out. An amazing exhibition. They all turned up at this gallery, and yeah, I was thinking there's something about the roots of Soho. Will just never, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Can you?
Well, and there's sort of a lot of it is, I think, you know, the tourism's mental in the West End at the moment, and you know, Carnaby Street's definitely been ruined, but it seems to be, if you go off the beaten track, straight away you can find yourself in a sort of proper bit of London again.
Immediately,
you know?
where there's independent shops around.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's you know, it's always changing, isn't it? You know, it's got to be different than what it was. I'm sure they were moaning in the 80s it wasn't as good as what it was in the 60s.
No, exactly.
So yeah, but so yeah, so the music. So there's a music company side of Wonderfulsound, and it's like I've recently just done this job with. Do you know Tom Hingston around the corner at Hingston Studio?
Oh, I've heard of Hingston
Tom and
Studio.
Snowy.
Okay, no.
Graphic designers. He did the Massive Attack sleeve.
Okay, yes, yeah.
I
didn't know that was his name.
So recently,
Mezzanine.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. They approached me recently because they'd heard about the Singles Club to do a record club for the Teenage Cancer Trust.
Amazing.
And so we kind of sort of got our heads together, and then I was like, right, okay, so yeah, we can do it. Originally we were going to do 7s, so we can do it. I said, but what's the music? You know, what are we actually doing? Well, we're going to be licensing stuff. And they were like, no, since 2001 or whatever, Royal Albert Hall, they've done Teenage Cancer Trust concerts.
I go there every year.
Do you?
Okay. Every year.
Right, so they do the concerts at the Royal Albert Hall, and they've recorded every single one. So they've got it all recorded.
Wow.
So they said, well, we're just going to put those. We're going to pick tracks, and we're just going to put those out.
Amazing.
So we did three. We ended up having to do a 10-inch because the first track got sent over, and I'm project managing it basically in between sort of the Teenage Cancer Trust and then the design studio that Hingston Design Studio doesn't want to be dealing with any of the manufacturing side of things for the record, and I know how to get a record made.
Yeah.
And the first bit of audio came over, and I was like, well, it's great. It was Chemical Brothers, and I was like, it's great.
I was at that one.
Yeah, but well,
yeah.
I'll get you one. I'll get you one.
It was amazing.
It's about. I've been waiting to. I haven't got a copy yet. But they did beautiful layout. The artwork and everything.
It's the
fantastic.
production of that place. They literally lifted the roof off of that place.
Did they?
It was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it.
Right.
They had these huge robots, massive robots that got shipped in, and they came alive for about 10 seconds, and that was it. That was how, it was such a big production, and we came out of there literally. Usually we go off and have a few beers somewhere. We were all exhausted. We got on the train. We were literally like head on the table, absolutely knackered. It was ridiculous.
Right.
But they were brilliant.
Right. Well, that's one of those is out. One of those is on a 10-inch. Can't remember what the track is now. Cut that bit. I know what the track is.
Yeah.
But the so we did it. So the first bit of audio came, and it's 6 minutes long, and you can't really get 6 minutes on a 7-inch. And I was like, right, we're going to have to rethink all this. And we ended up doing a 10-inch. And it's a 10-inch record, and it's a 10-inch record club basically. So we did 3 all at once just before Christmas, Kasabian and the Doves.
Yeah.
And then Chemicals.
I was at the Kasabian one as well. Yeah, I think a long time ago
though. And they sold out straight away. You know, and the whole thing's a real sort of success. So we're looking into trying to get that going again. You know, into that. I think they're probably prepping for the next Royal Albert Hall gigs that's probably coming up soon. But so I kind of do things like that as well, sort of like just a few fingers and a few pies, just trying to sort of like grow the company as expert in trying to do things, really.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people don't. You know, if we want to get a record
Matchmaker.
made, yeah.
Producer, really. Isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's project managing things,
Yeah.
and then there's some production work coming up. I've just started doing the Monks Road Social, which was the project which Paul Weller got involved with. I'm getting asked to come in and project manage that and co-produce it and deal with all that at the moment. So it's, you know, it's a funny old world I live in. My daughter's always asking me, what do I actually do? Yeah. I said, I don't know. I still can't answer that question.
Well, the best thing is you're doing it all, you know, what you want to do. You don't have a boss there.
No, it's good. You know,
making it work.
It's kind of making it work. You know, as everybody knows who does a similar self-employed thing. You know, it's sort of like you've got to be sort of it's tricky
You've got
sometimes.
to enjoy what you're doing, isn't it, really?
But I enjoy it, so it's good. It's good. It's working out at the moment.
Yeah.